Americans need to understand that they're watching a couple of things happen. The first is a massive wealth transfer. It's not necessarily going to Ukraine. Some of that money will end up in Ukraine. At this point, we're already paying for the army, for the bureaucracy, for the state. But that's actually minor in terms of expense. The largest portion of the money just goes to DOD to replace equipment that is being sent and then subsequently moves to the defense industries, who profit enormously. The donors who keep the politicians in office are then rewarded because of their investments with the defense industries, and they then take some of that money and recycle it back into the politicians on the Hill as an expression of gratitude. Thank you for transferring all this wealth to us. Here is your cut. So that's why you had so many Republicans desert, go ahead and support the left, because they're really part of the uniparty. They're all enriching themselves. So that's the first piece of theater. The second piece of theater, which Americans don't really understand either, is that the Ukrainian army in the Donbas in eastern Ukraine is on the verge of collapse. They've taken hundreds of thousands of casualties. They're way north of 100,000 dead, closing in on 150,000 dead. The 93rd Ukrainian Army Brigade was just withdrawn from Bakhmut, which has been turned into a Ukrainian bloodbath by the Russians, and they left after suffering 70% casualties. For them, that means that out of 4,000 men, only 2,800 were left behind. In other words, 70% were left behind. They pulled out with about 1,200 men. That's a catastrophe. Wow. That's what's really happening. And when the Russians finally launch their offensive, Americans are going to watch this entire house of cards collapse. And then the real question is, will someone stand up and finally put an end to this utterly false narrative, which has enriched lots of people here, but hasn't done much good for the United States, as you point out?